आप अपने आप पे ध्यान ही नहीं दे पा रहे हो because we don't have time, because of the lives that we are living in. What are the type of thoughts that you have? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like, I've achieved everything? We are easily able to connect with anybody who we want. Like suddenly I keep questioning myself, make it work the way you want to make it work. Everything in this universe is energy. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Beyond the Peel, your journey to self transformation. So, are you someone who feels tired, who feels exhausted, overwhelmed by the amount of decisions that you have to take on an everyday basis? From the time you open your eyes in the morning to the time you are sound asleep, do you feel drained even in making the simplest of choices in your everyday basis? Well, there's a good news that you're not alone. Everybody, including me, face that, but there is a workaround to not feel mentally drained about it. If you're interested in that, do keep watching. So, first of all, we all know that in our everyday life we have to make so many decisions. When I say it's not about the decision of your will or what will happen after you die, it's the simplest of choices. What do I eat today? What do I cook today? What do I wear today? What do I do in my free time today? What movies do I watch? So you can very well imagine how many decisions do we have to take on an everyday basis. Now the thing is, the more decisions we are having to make in our everyday life, more mentally drained we feel. The decisions basically drain all our mental energy, and that is the reason we feel overwhelmed at times. That is why, to do a simple core, if there are a lot of decisions that we have to make to do it, we will already feel half drained before even starting the work. Now psychologists, they call this as decision fatigue, and many people, almost everyone in the world, face that. And that is why we've got to really focus on making our lives easier, really focus in on removing, if not completely, minimizing the amount of decisions that we make on our everyday basis, because we've got to preserve our mental peace. Because if we will not, who will, right? If you want to be really effective in your day-to-day basis, you've got to really think about it. Now some of you might be thinking, it's okay, yeah, these are just like simple choices, everyday choices, I have to make them, what's the big deal? There is a big deal. You are draining your mental energy in making choices which you could be smarter about it. So be smart and don't do the hard work of making the choices. And I'm going to share a couple of tips and tricks that I have applied in my life, that many people apply in their life, to make their lives easier, to make sure that they are preserving their mental peace and are able to focus in on things that they really should be, rather than thinking about non-trivial things. All right, so how do we tackle the decision fatigue? Now, before I get into how do we tackle it, I think it's important disclaimer for you to know, it's a very important information for you to know, that decision fatigue, it can result in poor decision making. जब हम बहुत ज़्यादा किसी बारे में सोचते हैं, when we have to make a lot of decisions, at one point of time we'll be like, ठीक है, let's just do that, I don't want to think so much, let's just do it. It leads to poor decision making, it leads to procrastination. I am a culprit of it, because if I'm already tired and I can see, yeah, I have to do so much work, mental work in accomplishing something, I'll be like, I'm not going to do it. So you will fall trap of procrastination, if not making poor decision making, and even result in impulse control issues. So we might even get agitated and angry just because we have to do something. And when you think there is these whole pile of decisions that I have to make to accomplish a simple task, and we'll be like, I'm not going to do it, right? So we will be facing all that anger within us. And that is why it is so crucial that we streamline our routines and remove any unnecessary decisions as much as possible to preserve our mental peace. All right, now one very effective strategy that we can implement to remove the decision fatigue from our life is basically automating the tasks which can be automated. Sounds difficult and sounds vague at this point, right? But things that you do very often in your routine, find a smarter way to automate that, right? So if there is something that you are doing constantly every day in the same fashion, find a way you can do it in a better way, so that instead of you having to spend 15 minutes every day on that, you are spending just 5 minutes every day on that. Now obviously you cannot get around with not doing that task, because the reason you're doing it every day, it's probably important. So I'm not saying remove that task altogether from your routine, but find a smarter way to automate that in a way that instead of spending 15 minutes or 20 minutes on that, you have found a way wherein you could automate that task and the task gets done in 5 minutes instead, and you are not having to spend so much time on something that is so mundane. All right, now simple example could be, for example, if I'm kneading flour, I have to do that every day because I have to cook chapatis, right? So I know I have to do it every day. I know I don't like it. I know, how much quantity I'm going to take. I know how much quantity of flour and water do I need to take. I know that it's really needed. I know the times that I have to do it. I know the quantity. I know everything, but still I don't like doing it, right? Now, every day, instead of doing the same thing again, sitting there, not sitting there, but basically putting in all my energy, mental energy and physical energy, doing kneading the flour, what I could do is I could maybe find an automated way of doing it so that the task gets done in 5 minutes instead of 15 minutes. So what happens is I've got my 10 minutes back, which I could utilize elsewhere, and I will feel happy about it. So anything that you're doing on a regular basis, you've become a pro at that. You know how it should be done. You know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. You know everything around it. Find a way to basically automate that task, and that will make your lives really, really easier. People who are in tech industry probably know the importance of automation, because for building the products, there are a lot of areas that we automate. Why do we automate? To make our lives easier, so that we don't have to repeatedly do the same task again and again in the same fashion, because otherwise we will get bored at some point, and we don't want to spend our mental and physical energy into something that we are so sure about that we have to do. Instead of that, let's just try to automate the tasks which we regularly do. Find a smarter way to do it rather than doing it the harder way and depleting your energy in doing that same task over and over again every day, right? So that is probably the first very effective strategy that you can implement in your life. Now just think now, or maybe later on, what are the tasks that you're doing every day which you don't like doing but you still have to do it, and just think what are the other ways that people are doing this task, right? So there could be any, I've just taken the example of kneading a flour. There could literally be any other example that you have in your life of a task that you don't like doing. Find a better and effective way of doing it, and it will make your life really, really easy. All right, so another example could be that, again, since I took the example from my kitchen, for us people who are preparing meals 3 times a day, 4 times a day, etc., there is a lot of energy that goes into what should I make, asking people what do you want, then making it, and then looking for the ingredients, and then actually cooking it and stuff like that. There's a lot of decision making that goes into that. Now instead of that, we could probably make a weekly meal plan, sit once a week, prepare a weekly meal plan, and then follow that religiously for the entire week. Just imagine how many minutes or hours have you saved. And it's not, because personally for me, when I have to go and ask everybody in the house what do you want to eat, and then nobody gives me a straight answer, I get frustrated. I'm like, all right, I'm just making whatever I want to, because no one has an opinion on that and no one really bothers about it also. So instead of that, maybe on a Sunday or a Saturday, just sit for the following week, make a meal plan, so that you don't have to go and spend your mental energy every day on asking people what you want to eat. If you have a meal plan for all the 3 meals of the day for the entire week, you just have to instantly go into the kitchen and follow that. You don't have to spend time asking people what they want to eat. You don't have to spend time looking for the vegetables and then having to make the decision on what should I make. You don't have to worry about the quantities, etc., because you've already planned all of these things. So this will really make your life easier. All right, that's probably one thing that you can do. Or maybe the dresses that you're going to wear, if you are going outside to office regularly, maybe once a week, twice a week, or all 5 days a week, maybe whatever you want to wear, that is something that you can pre-decide as well. If, for example, if I have to go, I don't go to office, I work from home, but if I have to go to office every day and stand in front of Almira and spend 10 minutes every day wondering and making a decision on what I want to wear, I would be really frustrated. So I do really like to plan. If I'm going even twice a week, I would usually think a week before that on what I'm going to wear on this day, what I'm going to wear on this day, because I don't want to be standing there confused on what should I wear. I want to really make my life easier. So I think if you know Mark Zuckerberg or any other famous personality, they wear very simple, just t-shirt and jeans or trousers or whatever, to remove the decision fatigue. No one wants to spend their mental energy on decisions that are not very trivial, and that's what they do. They are implementing that effective strategy to remove that burden of having to make the decisions from their daily life and making their lives easier. So that is something, that is one of the examples that you can follow in this, in this strategy. Another one is probably establishing a morning routine that we want to follow religiously. Like, there are some tasks that we do regularly on, everyday morning, things that we could probably make a decision beforehand on what do I want to make, and then probably plan for it better. So a planning strategy is a very important and a crucial one to help us reduce the decisions that we have to make on an everyday basis. Something that we can implement in our life, something that I follow frequently, and it has really helped me to not having to spend my mental energy on something that's not as important as it should. Okay, so that's one. Another follow-up strategy from it is probably prioritizing the decisions that you have to make. All right, so in our daily basis, in our daily routines, there are a lot of things that we do. We don't need to necessarily do all of them. We can be smarter about it and prioritize the things that really need our attention. I've seen a lot of people, they spend their mental energy on things which are not as trivial. So just have a thought about everything that you do on your daily basis and see if it is really important and worthy of you to spend your mental energy on it or not. If it is not, don't worry about it. Don't spend your energy on that, and focus on things that really matter for your daily routine, for your life in general, and that will really help you. So these are a couple of things that I follow in my life to remove the decision fatigue from my life, because we might at this point think doesn't really matter, but it actually does. If you can streamline your day, if you can streamline your week and months and your entire life in a way that you are only spending your time and energy and possibly even money on things that really matter, you are basically preserving your peace and just focusing on things that really matter. I think these are a couple of things that I wanted to share. So I think with that, I'm going to wrap up the video. If at all you find yourself in the decision fatigue on a daily basis, do try out these effective strategies, because it will really make your life easier and something that you enjoy doing rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it. All right, so with that, I'm going to wrap up. I hope you liked the video, and I will see you all next week with another interesting topic. Bye bye.